Ever looked in the mirror and thought, why doesn't this hairstyle feel like me anymore? What if I told you that it's not your age, but a few sneaky hair mistakes that are secretly dragging down your whole look? Welcome to a beauty awakening, because after 60, your hair shouldn't be holding you back. It should be elevating everything: your confidence, your glow, your presence. Hair is more than just strands. It's history. It's personality. It's a soft crown we wear every day. But for many women over 60, that crown can start to feel off. Maybe it's limp, or too dark, or still holding onto a style that worked in 1992 too. And that's okay, because today, we're breaking free from the rules of aging and revealing 5 common hair mistakes that even the most stylish women unknowingly make after 60. More importantly, we're going to talk about how to fix them beautifully. Whether you've embraced silver strands or still love a good brunette dye job, this video isn't about changing who you are. It's about amplifying your natural elegance with smart, intentional choices. The truth is, you don't need a drastic haircut or to start over from scratch. Sometimes, all it takes is tweaking your parting line, lightening your tone just one shade, or adding soft volume in the right spot. And boom! You look 10 years fresher. And guess what? It's not about hiding your age. It's about highlighting your best features, bringing out your sparkle, and saying, yes, I'm over 60, and I've never looked more me. So grab your cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's walk through the subtle hair habits that might be aging you without you even realizing it. Because once you spot them, you'll never see your hair the same way again. Hair mistake 1. Too dark hair color. When rich turns harsh. There's a seductive myth that darker hair color automatically adds sophistication, mystery, and a youthful edge. And while that might be true in your 30s or even 40s, after 60, going too dark can actually have the opposite effect. It can make you look older, harsher, and more tired, and even wash out your natural glow. Let's break this down. As we age, our skin tone changes. Most women over 60 experience a loss of natural pigmentation, meaning your skin becomes paler, less vibrant, and more translucent. When you pair that with an intense, inky black or ultra-deep brown hair color, the contrast becomes too stark. Instead of highlighting your features, it drains your face of warmth and softness. You don't look younger, you look overwhelmed by your hair color. Worse, a dark, solid color also emphasizes fine lines and wrinkles, especially around the eyes, temples, and forehead. Why? Because dark colors reflect less light. They create a hard frame that draws the eye to every tiny shadow on your face. It's like placing a spotlight on everything you'd rather not highlight. Then there's the issue of root maintenance. When gray or white roots start showing, and they will fast, the contrast with a very dark base becomes even more obvious. That means more frequent dye sessions, more chemical exposure, and more stress for your scalp and strands. It's not just a style issue, it becomes a health and upkeep concern. So what's the fix? The secret is to soften and lighten, without losing richness. That doesn't mean going blonde unless that's your style. Instead, opt for shades that add warmth and reflect light. Rich chocolate browns with subtle caramel highlights, soft chestnut with golden or copper undertones, dimensional brunettes with soft balayage, even a rose brown or dark auburn for a gentle pop. These tones are forgiving. They blend beautifully with incoming grays, they bounce light back onto your skin, and they create a halo effect that feels soft, feminine, and polished. And here's the bonus. You'll look younger and more modern without trying too hard. Think of stars like Andie MacDowell, Helen Mirren, or Diane Keaton. They've embraced more natural, dimensional hues that play with their changing complexion instead of fighting against it. One final tip. Ask your colorist for multi-tonal color techniques, like lowlights, subtle highlights, or glossing, instead of a flat, all-over dark dye. You'll be amazed at how a slight shift in color can lift your whole face, because after 60, beauty isn't about hiding your age. It's about enhancing the light you still radiate. Hair mistake 2. Ignoring texture and volume, the silent saboteurs of youthful hair. As we age, our hair tells a story, of resilience, experience, and beauty. But what happens when that story becomes one note, flat and lifeless? One of the most overlooked yet devastating mistakes women over 60 make with their hair is ignoring texture and volume. While youthful hair is rarely defined by length alone, it is almost always characterized by vitality, movement, bounce, and body. Without volume and texture, even the most expensive haircut or luxurious color can fall flat. Literally, why this mistake is so common. Let's start with empathy. Many women over 60 spent decades battling frizz, humidity, and too much volume during the days when sleek, ironed styles reigned supreme. So, it's understandable that now they might associate volume with messiness and seek to control or flatten their hair. Others may believe that thinning hair is simply an inevitable part of aging and choose to make peace with it by letting their strands go limp. But here's the truth. You don't need to settle for flat, lifeless hair. With just a few strategic choices in cut, styling, and product, you can dramatically restore movement, depth, and energy to your hair, and by extension, your face. Ignoring volume and texture isn't just a style issue, it's a confidence one. It can age your appearance more than grays or wrinkles ever could. What happens when you ignore texture and volume? Your face loses framing and dimension. Hair without shape, bounce, or structure can leave your face looking washed out and undefined. With age, our facial features soften, and we need the contrast and balance that textured hair provides to keep everything lifted and harmonious. You look more tired than you actually are. Or hair that hugs the scalp, especially around the crown or jawline, has a flattening effect on your overall look. It pulls everything downward, mimicking the very things we're often trying to lift: our cheeks, eyes, and overall silhouette. Your personality gets lost in translation. Flat, monotone hair often conveys the unintended message of, "I've given up." It can mask the vibrancy, playfulness, or sophistication that defines who you are inside. You might still feel lively, but your hair isn't telling that story to the world. Smart fixes to embrace volume texture. Again, go for strategic layers. One of the simplest ways to add volume is by incorporating long layers into your haircut. Layers remove weight and allow hair to lift at the root, especially if you have fine or straight strands. Use the right styling products, but not too many. Lightweight mousse, volumizing sprays, and root lifters can do wonders. The key is not to overload your hair with heavy products or sticky gels. Look for items labeled volumizing, texturizing, or root lifting, and apply only at the roots or mid-lengths. Try a blow dry with a round brush or Velcro rollers. Old school tools work for a reason. A round brush can create natural volume at the crown, while Velcro rollers used while hair is still warm help set movement into your style without extreme heat. Consider a volumizing cut. Pixie cuts with textured layers, bobs with stacked backs, or mid-length shags are great for creating natural volume and lift. Avoid long, heavy one-length cuts that drag everything down. Use dry shampoo as a texturizer. Even if your hair isn't oily, a light spritz of dry shampoo adds grip and lift to roots, helping styles hold their shape throughout the day. Bonus tip: go with the flow of your natural texture. Instead of fighting waves, curls, or even slight frizz, lean into what nature gave you. Soft curls or tousled waves, even if created with a heatless overnight braid, add a youthful softness to your look and keep your hair from looking static or limp. The emotional shift when you reclaim volume. There's something deeply powerful about watching a woman over 60 walk into a room with beautifully lifted, textured hair. It communicates vitality, care, and self-respect. Not vanity, but vibrancy. You don't need massive Hollywood blowouts or high-maintenance salon routines. You just need the right texture in the right places. When you do that, your hair doesn't just sit on your head. It lifts your entire presence. Hair mistake 3. Outdated haircuts. Holding on to the past. You know the haircut. It's the same one you've had since your 30s, or maybe even your 20s. It used to work beautifully for you. It framed your face, fit the trends of the time, and drew compliments left and right. But now, something feels off. It might not be immediately obvious, but when a haircut stays frozen in time while the face it frames matures, the contrast can be subtly, or not so subtly, aging. Clinging to a haircut from decades past is one of the most common style traps women over 60 fall into, not because they're unaware, but because of emotional connection. Hair holds memories. The cut you wore during your wedding, that fierce bob from your first promotion, the shag that made you feel sexy and free in your 40s. But style, like life, evolves. And when your haircut doesn't evolve with you, it begins to weigh you down instead of lifting you up. How outdated haircuts age you, they clash with your current face shape. Our faces change with age. Cheekbones soften, jaws lose some definition, and skin elasticity shifts. A haircut designed for a younger version of your face might now highlight features you'd rather downplay. It can draw attention to jowls, make the face look longer or droopier, or sit flat where you now need volume. They disconnect you from the present. An old-school feathered flip or dated layers can immediately timestamp your appearance, making your whole look feel stuck in a time warp. Instead of saying ageless, it says out of touch. They block opportunities for reinvention. Updating your hair isn't just about looks, it's about energy. A modern cut can make you feel renewed, reinvigorated, and ready to take on the next chapter. Holding on to the past keeps you from discovering a style that reflects who you are today, wise, confident, and powerful. But isn't change risky? Absolutely. And that's why many women stick with the familiar. Changing your hair, especially after years or decades of the same style, can feel intimidating. What if it doesn't suit you? What if it's hard to maintain? But here's the truth. With the right cut, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. You don't have to go drastic or chase trends. The goal isn't to look younger, it's to look current, intentional, and radiant. Signs your haircut is outdated. You've had the same style for more than 10 years with no major changes. People say things like, "You haven't aged a day," but it feels more like code for, "Your style hasn't changed a bit." The shape lacks movement or structure. You find yourself tucking or pinning parts of your hair constantly to make it work. Modern solutions that still feel like you soft, layered bobs. A classic bob with modern layering adds shape, movement, and youthfulness. Opt for chin-length or shoulder-grazing versions with texture around the face. It's flattering, timeless, and easy to style. Textured pixie cuts. A pixie with soft layers and volume on top brings lift and playfulness, perfect for fine hair or women who want something low-maintenance yet chic. Long layers with side-swept bangs. If you love length, don't chop it off, just modernize the shape. Add long layers and pair with curtain or side-swept bangs to create softness and frame the face without pulling it down. Collarbone-length cuts with movement. This versatile mid-length gives you enough to style while removing the bulk of outdated shapes. Add waves or tousled texture for a natural, modern feel. Face framing highlights and low-maintenance color. Sometimes it's not just the shape, it's the color too. If your cut is aging you, pairing it with one-dimensional dark or brassy hair color makes it worse. Ask your stylist for soft highlights that brighten your complexion and soften the overall effect. Talk to your stylist, not your nostalgia. Your hairdresser isn't just a technician, they're your partner in reinvention. Bring photos of styles you love, but be open to feedback. A great stylist will help you find a cut that works with your current face shape, lifestyle, and hair texture. Not one that rehashes 1995. It's okay to honor the past, but your hair deserves to live in the present. The emotional liberation of letting go. There's something truly empowering about releasing an old haircut. It's more than aesthetics, it's symbolic. Letting go of a style that no longer serves you can feel like stepping out of an old skin and walking into a new version of yourself. You're not erasing your past, you're evolving with grace. Hair mistake 4. One-length haircuts that drag the face down. A one-length haircut may seem like the easiest option. No layers, no fuss, just a straight line. But for women over 60, this simplicity can become a silent saboteur. Why? Because as we age, our facial contours shift, skin loses elasticity, cheek volume decreases, and jawlines soften. A single-length haircut that just hangs can accentuate sagging, make features look heavier, and worst of all, drag the whole face downward, creating the illusion of tiredness and age. Think about it this way. Hair is like a frame for your face. A good frame lifts, balances, and enhances. A bad one, it does the opposite. It highlights the wrong areas and misses the chance to flatter. One-length cuts, especially those that fall below the jaw or at the shoulders, draw a horizontal line that visually pulls everything down. Instead of lifting, it elongates and flattens your look. The result: you may appear older, heavier, and less energetic than you feel on the inside. Another danger of one-length cuts is the lack of movement. Hair without layers tends to hang lifelessly, especially if it's fine or thinning, which is very common post-60. The natural bounce and body that layers provide is lost. Instead of creating soft framing or flow, one-length hair creates a curtain that hides your bone structure. It can make your face appear wide and your neck shorter, the exact opposite of what most women want at this stage of life. So what's the alternative? Face framing layers. Face framing layers are a mature woman's best friend. They're not trendy gimmicks. They're timeless tools that stylists use to sculpt, soften, and lift. When placed correctly, they draw attention upwards, to the eyes, the cheekbones, the smile. They restore movement and airiness to the hair, giving it a fresher, more youthful shape. Even if you want to keep your hair longer, layering around the face can make a huge difference without sacrificing length. You can go subtle or bold with your layers. If your style is classic, opt for soft layers starting at the cheekbone or jaw. For something more modern, try graduated layering that begins at the crown. Add side bangs or curtain bangs to further break up the heaviness of a solid length. The key is to avoid sharp, one-dimensional edges and instead create softness and lift. And here's another tip. One-length cuts tend to emphasize hair texture inconsistencies. If you have wavy or slightly frizzy hair, the lack of layers makes uneven textures stand out even more. Layers help blend these textures, creating a more cohesive and styled finish, even on wash-and-go days. In essence, ditching the one-length haircut isn't about chasing trends. It's about choosing a style that honors your face's evolution. Hair should complement, not compete. By switching to a layered, sculpted cut, you're not just changing how you look, you're reclaiming vitality, confidence, and joy in your reflection. Hair mistake 5. Skipping regular trims and treatments, the slow fade to lifeless hair. One of the most overlooked but impactful hair mistakes women over 60 make is skipping regular trims and hair treatments. While it might seem like a minor thing, especially if you're not styling your hair every day or growing it out, neglecting this basic hair care ritual can lead to tired, lifeless, and unruly locks that make you appear older than you are. Let's talk about trimming first. Hair doesn't stop growing just because you're over 60. But what does change is the rate at which it weakens, thins, and breaks. As we age, the hair growth cycle slows, meaning that strands become finer and more fragile. Without regular trims to remove split ends and maintain shape, hair begins to look frizzy at the ends, limp in form, and messy in silhouette. It doesn't matter how luxurious your shampoo is or how expensive your dye job was. A head of hair with scraggly split ends is never going to look elegant or polished. Think of your hairstyle like a well-tailored outfit. Even the most beautiful fabric can look sloppy if it hasn't been cut and finished properly. The same is true with your hair. Whether you wear it short or long, wavy or straight, a regular trim, every 6 to 8 weeks, keeps your style clean, your layers fresh, and your ends healthy. It's the invisible polish that elevates your entire appearance. Now, let's move on to treatments. Over 60, hair tends to lose its natural moisture and elasticity. Hormonal changes, especially post-menopause, reduce oil production on the scalp. This leads to drier hair that's more prone to frizz, breakage, and a dull appearance. Many women mistake these symptoms as just part of getting older, when in reality, they can be significantly improved with the right hair treatments. Deep conditioning masks, protein treatments, scalp exfoliation, and even leave-in serums can breathe life back into aging hair. These aren't just indulgent luxuries. They are investments in how you feel and how you're perceived. A woman with glossy, soft, well-maintained hair exudes confidence and vitality, no matter her age. Skipping trims and treatments is a slow fade, a gradual decline that sneaks up on you. One day, your hair looks fine, and the next, you're wondering why you feel so dull and tired every time you look in the mirror. Often, it's not your face or clothes. It's your hair sending the wrong message. Here's the solution. Schedule regular trims. Every 6 to 8 weeks is ideal, even if it's just a dusting. Add a deep conditioning treatment to your routine once a week. Use heat protectant if you style with hot tools. Treat your hair as you would your skin, with care, hydration, and intention. It's not about having perfect hair. It's about having hair that reflects the vibrant, stylish woman you are today. Regular trims and treatments won't just make you look younger, they'll make you feel it too. Your hair is not just something that sits on your head. It's part of your energy, your style, your story, and just like your confidence, your beauty doesn't expire at 60. It transforms. Yes, aging brings changes to your skin, your posture, and of course, your hair. But these changes aren't something to fear or hide. They're invitations. Invitations to evolve, to refine your style, to let go of old routines that no longer serve you, and embrace new ones that lift you higher. Maybe you've held on to the same hairstyle for 30 years because it's familiar. Or maybe you've gone too long between cuts because you felt invisible or unsure of what's appropriate at your age. But here's the truth. The only rule is what makes you feel alive. If your hairstyle reflects a version of you that no longer exists, it's time to reinvent, not to impress others, but to feel aligned with the woman you are today. Let this video be your nudge. Whether it's softening that too dark color, adding some movement and volume, or simply booking that long overdue trim, these small steps can spark a powerful change, not just in how others see you, but in how you see yourself. Because when a woman over 60 walks into a room with radiant hair, not perfect but cared for, people don't see her age. They see elegance, self-respect, strength. You don't need to chase youth, you just need to honor yourself. And sometimes, the journey to feeling vibrant again starts with something as simple as a fresh cut, a lighter shade, or a bold bang. You're not aging, you're evolving, and your hair deserves to come along for the ride.